I found it extremely insightful. I hope that what I'm going to cover is at the right level for this audience. It's probably a little bit dulled down on what you've just heard. And thank you very much for the introduction. It's really good to be here. And I'm really looking forward to presenting, but also the conversations we're going to have over the next couple of days. You'll note on the slide before, it didn't actually have a title, so I can actually talk about whatever I want now, which is good. But what I'm going to cover is activating the agent of the future. So you haven't heard of me before other than see me on a picture a second ago. So my name's Nick Smith. That's me on the right-hand side, of course. I'm 45 years old, and I actually turned 45 yesterday. So thank you. I was actually going to ask you to sing Happy Birthday. We can save that till later, and you can just all buy me a drink later in the bar. That's the answer. And actually, I got this kind of ties in with customer service, but I got this message from the hotel I'm staying in yesterday. Happy birthday, Mr. Smith. I hope you enjoy your special day, and may you live until your hair turns out grey. So they clearly haven't seen the colour of my hair, and on that basis, I don't know how much longer I have to go. So I'm going to try and get this done in 20 minutes. Okay, so I currently live in Singapore, manage the APAC business, as you heard, and I listed my career progression on the left-hand side, not for any other reason than the role at the bottom. So I actually started off life as a resource planning manager, which honestly is the best role I think I've had in my career. It's a role that is based purely on logic, decision-making, maths doesn't lie, and rewarding in that you're impacting agents' lives and obviously committing to good customer service. So I feel I genuinely have the right to be able to talk to you about planning today because of that role. Okay, so I'm going to very quickly cover who Calabrio are. I have that right as a vendor, but it will be very quick. I'm going to go into what is AI from our perspective. We have a report called the State of the Contact Center report, which I will touch on. Some key insights from that report, and then if there's any time at the end, we can conclude and run to some questions. Okay, so you all cheered and clapped, so it feels like you're slightly energized now. Can I just see a raise of hands who's heard of Calabrio as a vendor? Okay. So I've been to India 4 times now supporting the team on the ground, and I've got, I think, a relatively good feel for how well known we are, and I'd say there's probably 20-30% of you that know us. So I'm going to run through who we are very quickly. So we're a US-headquartered WFO software company. We've been in the market for 16 years, and our business was built on a white-labeled recording solution that Cisco sold to the market globally. We've got approximately 700 employees scattered all over the globe and currently sit at about 6,000 customers. We only have a WFO solution, so we don't compete with any of the CCaaS vendors in the contact center market, and as a result, we have integrations to pretty much every platform out there. You can't see you're a long way away. I've actually got a Cisco left sock on and a Twilio right sock on, which I can show you later if you're interested. We've got customers in over 70 countries, offices in all the major cities you would expect, and specifically in India, we have an office in Noida with just over 100 employees. And India is a really big focus for us and what we see as a big growth potential. And in terms of the product, as I said at the beginning, we're a WFO vendor, so we have recording, quality management, analytics, workforce management, and a BI tool that sits over the top of that. And our mission is simply to be the best-of-breed solution in the workforce optimization space. And finally, our tool is based on the acquisition of a product called Teleopti, which I know some of you have heard of as well. And what that's done is give us what we believe is the market-leading tool for WFM, and that is fully integrated into our Calabrio One suite. So that's Calabrio in under 2 minutes, I think. The final bit I'll touch on the right-hand side, you'll see a QR code. I don't know if some of you have tried to scan it or not. What that does is it takes you through to a game which is a little bit like Flappy Birds, if any of you have played it or have kids who have played it. So we're running this game for the next 2 days, and we have a pretty sexy Bose speaker as a prize for the person who top scores at the end of those 2 days. So we're over in the corner. You will see Jamie over there waving, and the barcode's next to him if you want to scan and have a go. Okay, so when I was putting this together, I couldn't help but come back to the question, what actually is AI? We've all seen various sci-fi movies with humanoid robots and AI engines that go rogue and start attacking humans. And AI's really come to the limelight in the last 12, 18 months with ChatGPT and what that has done. But during my research, this was the best definition that I could find, and one that I felt was pretty easy to relate to when we put it in the same bucket as workforce management. So artificial intelligence is the ability of a digital computer or computer-controlled robot to perform tasks commonly associated with intelligent beings. And actually, AI isn't new. It's been around way before contact centers. The first digital computer came online in 1948, and the first notable artificial intelligence system in 1950. And this was a small robotic mouse that could navigate a simple maze and remember its course. The next notable AI was Perceptron Mark I, and this was an artificial neural network that could distinguish cards marked on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side. And the list goes on. I'm sure you've scanned them as I've been talking. Right up to the end in 2020 when we see ChatGPT and some of the image recognition AI engines that have really brought it to the limelight. So really, AI is nothing new, but now we have the volume of accessible information and the computational power to really deliver some quite spectacular outcomes from this technology. So I've got one question for you now, and I expect you to throw some numbers at me. Can anyone tell me when the first recorded contact center came into existence? And if you can tell me where it was as well, I'll be absolutely blown away. So what year do you think the first contact center came online? Silence. 78. That's when I was born, Jamie. Yeah, thank you. Okay. 1965, and it was the Birmingham Press in the UK, and that's a picture of it down the bottom. So Birmingham Press had 35 agents. It was open 9:30 till 5, Monday to Friday. The telephony platform allowed 12 calls to queue consecutively. If you were number 13, you would just get a dead tone. And the ladies in the contact center were answering the phone, typing a letter which they would send to the department internally to pull out the information to then call back to the customer. But the point here is the contact center came after AI, which I thought was quite interesting. Okay, we have a report which we run every year called the State of the Contact Center. It's actually due out next week, but what I've done is pull some of the statistics for this presentation because I thought it tied in quite nicely to the theme. If you want to get your hands on the report, that's absolutely fine. Again, just speak to us at the back and we can take details and get that sent out to you. But what we do in this report, we interview 400 contact center operatives and collate and analyze their responses. You can see the roles that we were interviewing, so 54% were heads of contact centers, 16% contact center managers, directors, and 10% ops managers. And these operatives were taken from all geographies and all verticals, so telecoms, BPOs, financial services, etc. I wasn't going to add this, but I thought it was quite interesting. We asked the age of the people that were participating, and out of the 400 operatives, 69% were millennials, so born between the 80s and 90s. So who knew? But there's the first bit of value add you've got. So artificial intelligence can encompass many things, but when it comes to applications in contact centers, managers believe that AI's greatest impact will be its potential to help agents and managers rather as a consumer-facing technology. Of course, AI can help make customer calls more efficient and productive, and that benefits the customer too. So when we asked our group of contact center managers what they thought the top benefit of AI for the future workforce would be, 25% said increased agent and manager productivity, followed by an equal 20% across the board for ability to optimize forecasting and scheduling, measure and understand contact center productivity, predict consumer interactions and behavior, and finally, chatbot services to customers. Contact center managers felt there are likely limitations to AI, however. When asked what areas spark concern or skepticism about applying AI, they cited its ability to track and address mental health, which is a hot topic at the moment, and identify a need for training and enhance agents' desire for flexibility. So when I looked at these results, it struck me that agent and manager productivity and forecasting were probably the biggest benefits that workforce management could see from AI, and so wanted to drill into those a little bit deeper. So I started looking at how agents could benefit from AI and stumbled across this quote from the research we did. Automated, safe self-service benefiting the business and the employee. And what I liked about that sentence was it touched on the age-old challenge of balancing customer satisfaction with agent satisfaction, which is still one of the main goals of a planning function. It also highlighted that self-service and automation could and should be safe with the right rule sets in place. And it then dawned on me, and if you think back to the AI definition, and automating processes typically done by humans, there is a lot of automation already in place in most WFM tools. The ability to input preferences or availability into a schedule, as an example. Automated shift trading, as another example. But equally, there are newer features and newer ideas that could really benefit the agents. Things like automated holiday planning, but with an agent welfare angle. So what if the planning solution could identify agents that had not taken holiday for a period of time and offer it out to them first from a well-being angle? Or it was able to identify agents whose quality scores had dropped, their adherence and lateness had deteriorated, and maybe offer them a half-day holiday if it was available to give them a chance to recharge. Giving agents the ability to use chatbots to look for overtime and holiday that suits their schedule, or even giving agents the ability to change their lunches and breaks, of course, within a set of parameters, a set of rules. And as I said, some of these are available now. We're actually running a session this afternoon where you could see some of the future tools. But I think the real value comes in when the tool is able to make decisions in real time based on deviations from forecast. So optimizing excess time when overstaffed quickly is extremely important. The last thing a contact center wants is overstaffing, because it's just wasting money with agents not utilizing that time. And equally, backfilling understaffing ensures customer satisfaction, which is key. And AI can play a big role in that real-time decision-making. And continuing on the theme of the agent and manager productivity, expanding certain process flows and current tools can really add value to the contact center. What if your QM solution could automatically identify an agent that was underperforming on a customer service skill? The information is then picked up by the scheduler, which automatically schedules some e-learning for them at a time when there is overstaffing. The agent is getting the training they need, there's no damage to the service level, and you're only training agents on these specific areas that they need training on. Another area that AI could look at is sickness and lateness patterns, and then at a certain point trigger a meeting with HR or a team leader. This could simply be a disciplinary issue, or maybe there's a wider well-being issue that you weren't able to pick up before that pattern recognition. And on the same thread, advanced attrition analysis, and again, it's on pattern recognition. What contributes to high attrition? And maybe there's certain external factors that do, which you need to factor into your planning. And finally, forecasting, which I've put a little lightning bolt next to because I wanted to expand on it a little bit further, because I think this is one of the toughest nuts to crack. So forecasting, as we all know, is the most critical part of any resource planning function. If it's inaccurate, then every action that is based on that forecast is inaccurate. So it's crucial that it's correct. But it is extremely difficult to get right just by looking at historical data and running it through an Erlang C algorithm. And that's really where your good resource planners come in. They have the insight to what's going to happen outside of that historical data and can map it on top. And if you think about some of the other processes we've talked about, they all run off data sets that are standardized and defined by the business. So agent contracts, available shifts, agent preferences, these are all built by the planning function and don't have any variation outside of that rule set that was built. Forecasting, on the other hand, has the historical data set that we know, but then a huge amount of external factors that could impact that forecast. And this varies based on the business type, the demographic of the customer, and many other factors. Weather events, bank holidays that vary in region and country and different times of year, sports events and their results, financial markets, etc. These can all impact the forecasts. I worked with a customer once in the UK when I was a consultant. They were a 111 provider. So in the UK, it's like if you have a minor injury or you're sick, you would call 111 and speak to a nurse or a doctor. And for 3 months of the year, they had a spike between 8 and 9 on a Thursday every week, and they couldn't understand why. And when they dug into it, they found that this tied in with a popular TV show. So we have a show called The Great British Bake Off, which attracts millions and millions of viewers every week. And that spike of calls was because when that show was on and the volume of people were watching, when it went to an advert break, everyone would get up and make a hot drink, and there would be a percentage of people who would have an accident and suffer a minor burn and call the 111 line. So it sounds crazy, but that was the actual reason they saw that spike. But the point of that is, what I'm saying is, it's not impossible, but solving the forecasting puzzle is extremely complex with the volume of external factors that are in play, and would be a great achievement by any WFM vendor. Okay, so we've covered agent and manager productivity and touched on forecasting. I've got another couple of statistics I was going to share. Okay, in 2022, there were nearly 2.9 million people working in contact centers in the United States, an increase from about 2.5 million in 2014, and this is despite increasing automation in the industry, so an upward trend. The majority of contact center managers surveyed felt this trend was going to continue, with agents becoming even more important brand guardians, given the increasing complexity of customer challenges. And if we look at the chart, we were asking our group, the 400 managers, whether they felt there will be more or less agents in the future as a result of AI. 24% felt there would be more agents in 1 to 5 years. 46% thought there would be more agents in 5 to 10 years. 23% thought there would be less in 1 to 5, 5% fewer in 5 to 10 years, and 3% thought there would be no effect. So if we roll that up, 70% of our pool think there will be more agents as a result of AI, and nearly 50% think the growth will come in 5 to 10 years, so not an immediate impact. And as contact centers change, the role of the agent is changing too. Agents are becoming not just the voice of the brand, but are also helping to enable and improve the role of AI. And whatever happens, nearly all managers agree that the landscape is changing because of AI. Only 3% saw that there'd be no change in the next 10 years. And finally, I wanted to touch on another area which I know is a hot topic right now, and that is homeworking. And the question posed was, how can AI support the homeworking boom? The result of this survey showed a drop in the level of satisfaction managers have with their remote workers' productivity. In 2020, 73% of managers said they were satisfied with their homeworking agents' productivity. This year, only 49% of managers were happy with that level of productivity. Offering remote and hybrid work may be necessary to attract new employees, but managers are also juggling how to measure at-home engagement and productivity while maintaining employee satisfaction. A WFM tool offering innovative AI can help ensure that remote workers are staying engaged and productive through tools like advanced gamification, dynamic agent automation tools. Plus, it can provide on-demand metrics to help determine what is working and what is not. A vendor can also ensure seamless scheduling for their agents and their managers while incorporating time for training and breaks. So I hope you're still with me. I'm bang on 20 minutes, which was the time. a couple of conclusions that I drew. AI is actually already a big part of most modern WFM solutions. If we take it by the definition I put up at the beginning, that there's a lot more to come, and I'm sure that majority of vendors have a whole host of things on their roadmap, but it's already a big part, especially on the intraday side and the agent tools. With continued development, it can increase agent satisfaction and productivity while safeguarding customer satisfaction. So again, supporting that balance of agent and customer satisfaction, which is so key to any WFM practice. Forecasting is, I think, the toughest area to crack, but carries huge value for anyone that can get it right. And the final point, AI will complement the planning function, not replace it. And I genuinely believe that. I'm pretty much bang on time. Thank you. I hope you're still with me. You look like you are. Are there any questions? Do I have time for questions?
Yeah, can you just go back to the manager survey slide? I have a question there.
Which one, sorry?
Which is AI automation will help to reduce the agents. Yeah, in this one. So it's kind of counterintuitive that bringing AI will actually not reduce the agents, but it will increase the agents. Is this increase because of the business forecast, which is going to give you more revenue? That's the reason we are increasing the agents, or are we going to see a decline of a revenue per agent or increase in the revenue per agent?
So I think there's a couple of reasons why. One I think there is more need for customer service, which is increasing the volume of contact centers. I also think that a lot of brands are going to need to use agent faces as a differentiator as we go forwards. If you're not using automated tools like chat and bots correctly, then you're not, if you don't use them correctly, you're not giving a good experience to customers. And I think, and we've seen in the past, brands typically use face-to-face contact and voice as a differentiator. So it's almost cyclical. It'll go round.
So it's not straightforward reduction by deploying AI. Actually, you will have probably more business or more usage of contact centers.
Yeah.
That's the reason it's increasing.
Yeah, and the complexity of the tasks that the agents are handling will mean there's more need for agents than there is for automation.
Okay, thank you.